Welcome to Gooseberry Science and Education videos. Today, we've got an absolutely fantastic explainer lined up for you. We're going to be tracing the amazing journey of culinary herbs, literally from the soil of your garden all the way to your dinner plate. We'll be uncovering exactly how to grow, harvest, and cook with some of nature's absolute most aromatic plants. So, grab your notebook, get comfortable, and let's get growing. Here's our action-oriented map for today's explainer. We'll be covering nature's defense system, beyond leaves, edible flowers, shrubs, vines, and berries, harvesting your bountiful garden, crafting refreshing summer cordials, and finally, perfect fruit and herb pairings.
Let's kick things off with Section 1, Nature's Flavorful Defense System. Now, gardener Jeff Cox shares a pretty brilliant insight here. We often think of culinary herbs just as the champions of the kitchen, right? Flavoring our teas, elevating our cooking. But from a biological standpoint, those powerful aromas and flavors, those volatile oils, they're actually a really clever evolutionary survival mechanism. Plants literally develop these intense compounds to fend off insects and fungi. So when we're enjoying a deliciously fragrant herb, we're actually benefiting from the plant's natural defense system. And what's really cool is this means we don't need to use environmentally disruptive chemicals to protect them in the garden. It's a total win-win for both the cook and the gardener.
All right, moving right along to Section 2, Beyond Leaves, Edible Flowers. So, herb gardens offer these amazing dual-use plants. And borage is just a perfect example of this. Its leaves can be chopped up to impart this wonderful, super refreshing cucumber flavor that is absolutely fantastic in yogurt or cucumber salads. But wait, it gets better. The plant also produces these striking sky blue petals. Instead of just letting them drop to the ground, you can freeze these flowers right into ice cubes for summer drinks, or toss them in a salad, or even candy them to decorate your baking. It's literally one plant pulling double duty.
Another really wonderful example is the English violet. As natural denizens of woodlands in shady areas, if you just sow them in a suitable spot, they're going to spread beautifully all on their own. And they produce these little, sweetly scented flowers that taste exactly like Parma violets. No joke. You can harvest them to completely elevate your summer salads, flavor your drinks, or even use them as a stunning, fragrant coloring agent.
Let's shift gears a bit for Section 3, Shrubs, Vines, and Berries. Okay, this is a surprising pivot that genuinely catches a lot of gardeners completely off guard. Pelargoniums are very often confused with standard garden geraniums. But despite their common name, they aren't actually true geraniums at all. They are perennial herbs with these tough, woody stems. And here's the absolute best part. They have highly aromatic, edible leaves. You can pick these individual leaves pretty much any time during the growing season to deeply flavor preserves, syrups, teas, or even a nice sorbet. Just a quick heads up though, remember to take the leaf out before serving, kind of like how you'd use a bay leaf.
Now, contrasting completely with those delicate little violets we saw earlier, let's talk about the rugged sumac shrub. This is a super resilient plant, often found in meadows and wastelands, and it puts on this incredibly dramatic red leaf display in the fall. It's happy to grow even in really poor soil. For this one, we're harvesting those dense clusters of red-berried seed heads. When they're ground up or when you extract the juice, sumac adds this wonderfully astringent, pleasantly sour, almost fruity flavor that is a total staple in Middle Eastern dishes.
All right, on to Section 4, Harvesting Your Bountiful Garden.
When it comes to herbs, timing is literally everything. Let's walk through a few quick examples. For a climbing vine like jasmine, you're going to want to pick those highly scented blossoms just before they open up in the summer. For the spicy myrtle shrub, summer is also your sweet spot. That's when you harvest the leaves, unopened flower buds, and even the berries. Sumac, on the other hand, that one requires a bit of patience. You really got to wait until the fall to cut those dense red seed heads. And for our sweet violets, you want to snip those fragrant little flowers right as they appear. Dialing in this timing ensures those defensive volatile oils we talked about earlier are captured perfectly at their prime.
Now for the really fun part, Section 5, Crafting Refreshing Summer Cordials.
Check out these two ultimate summer staples. On one side, we have bold, dark black currants. They're famously tart and absolutely packed with vitamin C. And they contrast just beautifully with the delicate elderflowers, which produce a sweet, almost musket-like flavor from their pure white blossoms. They're two completely different plants, right? But both of them make for the absolute most thirst-quenching summer drinks when you turn them into cordials.
So let's look at exactly how to pull that off with our black currants. The crucial trick here is right in step 1. You combine your berries, sugar, and water over a nice low heat. But, and this is key, you have to gently mash the black currants. You really need to make sure every single berry breaks open so they release all that vibrant juice. After a quick simmer of, say, 5 to 8 minutes, pull it off the heat, stir in some fresh lemon zest in juice to really brighten it up, and then slowly strain it out. Then, all you gotta do is add a couple tablespoons of this resulting syrup to a glass of sparkling mineral water, and boom, you have the ultimate summer's day refreshment.
Moving to our final section, number 6, perfect fruit and herb pairings.
Now, a quick word of advice. You definitely want to use herbs in moderation here, mostly because they can super easily overpower the more fragile flavors of fruit, but when you get it right, it is pure magic. If you're working with stone fruits like peaches or plums, try gently poaching them in orange-scented sugar. If you've got a bowl of fresh raspberries or mixed berries, pairing them with chocolate mint is just a gorgeous combo. But if you really want a game changer that is guaranteed to impress your dinner guests, take some fresh strawberries, top them with finely chopped fresh basil, and add just a tiny little sprinkle of high-quality balsamic vinegar. I know, it sounds wild, but it's a completely unexpected flavor profile that just works absolutely flawlessly.
Wow, we've covered a tremendous amount of ground today, from understanding how volatile plant oils protect the garden, all the way to transforming those very same oils into some pretty stunning culinary creations. So I just have to ask you, which unconventional herb are you going to be planting or cooking with first? Let me know. Please like and subscribe if you enjoy the content. We are already working on a new topic.